What's up, you guys? Martin here, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm with Wendy from JnW Reptiles. We are doing this big expo, and I brought her on to show us some reptiles and to talk about the event that I'm also going to be vending at.
Yay!
So, tell us about it.
As Martin said, my name is Wendy from JnW Reptile Rescue. We are based out of Vallejo, and me and my husband decided to do a special event coming up on July 20th and 21st of this year at the Vallejo Fairgrounds, and it is a Reptile and Oddity Expo.
So exciting.
And there will be a lot of reptile vendors there. They will have reptiles for sale, reptile supplies, food for them, everything that you want to see, and oddities, and that's where Martin comes in.
Me.
So we wanted to have something a little bit different to bring to the public, so reptiles and oddities kind of go very well together. So Martin does a lot of really cool oddity soaps and other types of organic stuff. So he'll be there, and we'll have some taxidermy vendors and some jewelry vendors, and anything that's kind of strange, unusual, and different will also be there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
So what started your passion with this? Like getting, you know, because you guys are a rescue.
Right.
So a lot of them, I've talked about this, you guys, on different videos about JnW Rescue. So what is your purpose?
Well, I actually got into doing a lot of the reptiles because when I met my husband, which is almost 13 years ago now. 13. I know, the lucky 13, that's got to be our number. Halloween.
Yes, Friday the 13th.
But when I met him, he had always been doing reptiles since he was a very young child. And I actually was doing exotic rescue and wildlife rehabilitation, and I'm originally from upstate New York. So we network with a lot of rescues, and that's how I met my husband. And when I met him and I moved here, we decided to designate all of our efforts to reptiles because there's not very many reptile rescues out there.
No.
There's a lot of dogs and cats and other small mammals and even rodents, but there's not a lot of reptiles.
I've never really heard of them until I met you at Nightmare Island, you know?
And there's more that are upcoming, but we are a legal 501 nonprofit. So we're not just a rescue. We are a legal 501 nonprofit rescue, and we run strictly on donations, which don't come in very often, but we do accept donations, and they're always greatly appreciated. And we get a lot of animals in on a regular basis. So, you know, being a nonprofit is not easy. You have state regulations, you have to file papers. It costs money to be a nonprofit, even though it's a nonprofit, state government-wise, for your paperwork. And it's not easy to, you know, to get that paperwork filled out and get it in and all that stuff.
I would imagine it'd be a process.
It is. It's a very lengthy process. It can be a time-consuming process. So it's really easy for a lot of people to, you know, go out and help and rescue, like from other people. They get animals and they are rescuing. But when you're a 501 nonprofit rescue, it gives you, you know, the little extra that you're legit. So, you know, you're not just saying you're rescuing and then you're basically selling. To me, if you're a 501 nonprofit, you kind of go, you end up living that life.
Right.
You know, a lot of people that do it, they can kind of temporarily do it and they get out of it. Me and my husband literally live it. So our house is loaded with animals, you know, at any given time. And we do adoptions, but we have more that come in that we can adopt out. So we get a lot of sick ones in, some healthy ones, you know, from all different areas. We work with different organizations, even humane societies and stuff like that. And unfortunately, you know, reptiles, you know, you have a bearded dragon.
Elvira.
They're a little bit different. Their requirements are different, their lighting's different, their food requirements, their housing. All of that is different than just, you know...
Just like, here's a puppy and here's a kitten.
Right. Or even a rabbit or even a guinea pig. You know, it's a little bit different. You know, their whole lifestyle is different. So we literally live our rescue. We don't have enough funding to open up a facility, which we would love to do someday. If anybody's ever willing to donate tons of money so we can open up a facility.
Right. And just to clarify, I will be leaving links in the description below. So if you guys want to check out their Facebook, to donate anything to them, much appreciated. So it will be in the description box below.
Yeah.
If you guys want to see that.
It's a huge out-of-pocket expense, and I will tell you that A lot of rescues, not just ours, but all smaller independent rescues are very misunderstood. They think that a lot of the public thinks that we all work with shelters, humane societies, we get paid by our counties, we get government grants, and we don't. None of that comes in.
Wow.
We don't get paid by government grants. We don't get paid by the government or the county that we even work with. There are some counties, don't get me wrong, there are some counties that you can get stuff from, and they are willing to help a little bit by donating, once a year, or a little bit of food or a little bit of supplies, which is also great, but it doesn't last very long when you're doing a large quantity. So like I said, we literally live this rescue. So when we decided to do the expo, is kind of how we started to do the expo. We vend at a lot of the reptile expos, and we do a lot of our adoptions that way. We don't publicly put anything up for adoption because we're looking for a permanent home.
Forever home.
Forever home. Not a impulse buy or a temporary. We're looking for permanent. So we are very particular on what we adopt out and who we adopt to. So
That's
we
good.
love talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
We love having people to get to know us as people. And that's how I met you.
Mm-hmm.
By just, getting into the same things. You're interested in reptiles along with the horror memorabilia.
Yeah.
So are we. So we kind of, love people to get to know us as people, not just as a rescue that they're going to adopt an animal from. So when we vend at these expos, we also sell used supplies ourselves. I also make taxidermy jewelry out of some of the animals.
Really cool.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah.
He's got some of my pieces.
I have some of the pieces. I think I've shown a couple of times, but they're great.
Thank you. But, it's not for everybody, and some people do get offended by it, but as a rescue, we can't save everything, and I don't like throwing anything away and feeling like it meant nothing or that it was worth of nothing. Mm-hmm. So I started making, actually I have a necklace on that I made. I started making the jewelry myself by learning, and that's how I kind of got into doing the oddities in a different way. So when we decided to do the expo, that's how I combined the reptiles and oddities together, me and my husband. And we've got a partner named Neil, and he actually runs the Central Valley Expo for Fresno and Bakersfield. And we partnered with him to do the one here in Vallejo. Some of the proceeds from there are going to help our rescue.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's we're really hoping for a very good turnout this first year. We think it'll be really a lot of fun. It's family friendly, so please, people don't, when I say oddities, it's not where it's going to be gore. Kids won't be excited or kids won't enjoy. There's going to be a lot of stuff there. Mm-hmm. There'll be the reptiles, the oddities. There's also going to be 2 really cool programs. One is going to be put on by Carl Person from Loma Vista University. He's doing a venomous display.
Ooh.
So he will actually do a presentation on some venomous snakes. He'll have a gaboon viper.
Oh, jeez. A gaboon.
Yeah, a gaboon viper. He'll have a cobra. He'll have a mamba. And we'll have some of those snakes on display along with what he will actually do in his presentation. We will also have Brandy Blue there from Safari Encounters. She does a beautiful outreach program where she educates about certain different exotic species that do require fish and game permits. She has a sloth. She has an alligator. She has an opossum. She educates about the local opossum. She has a lynx. She has a lemur. They'll be there, and you'll be able to see them.
Whoa.
So it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm real excited about Wilderness Taxidermy is going to be there. And this guy has some amazing taxidermy art, and he has a huge, we call it a huge gator dragon, that you can sit on and get your picture taken. Ain't it amazing?
Look, she's sitting on that.
I'm telling you, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God, we have got to, I know, I was like, we've got to have him at our show. And I was just like completely dumbfounded when I seen it. It's a beautiful piece of art, but it's something really, really cool. And the kids can get up on him and take a picture. He does charge a fee for that. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be something super, super cool.
It's going to be great.
Well, let me show you actually some of the stuff. Maybe that's, don't get scared, Martin.
So Wendy brought
some critters.
So this is what you guys have been waiting for. And
yes.
I'm nervous, but I'm excited. Elvira, I'm used to Elvira. That's what I'm going to say. Okay.
Well, I will tell you, just as we had spoke before, we do get a lot of phone calls, and as we are a rescue, on my way to Martin's, I actually had a rescue.
This is true.
The lady, very sweet woman, she has some medical issues, and she's needing some surgery. She was very heartbroken, and this doesn't happen often. we do get some in that are healthy, and they just, unfortunately, under the owner's certain circumstances, they can't keep them. So we actually got this cute little girl in. She came in with another boy, which he's a little bit unhappy, so we're not going to show him. But this little girl is, oh, are you okay, Mama? is somewhat like Elvira, but she's a little, it's okay, Mama. She's a little scared, but she'll be okay. Her name is Hiccup. And this is Hiccup. And she only had her for a couple hours now.
She's very nice.
She's very sweet. She just, you know, they do go, even though in the reptiles, they do still go through a little bit of stress and transition. But her friend, she was not housed with him, but her friend's name is Maui, and Maui's a little bit upset right now, but he's also sleeping, and I don't want to stress him out anymore by waking him up. We don't breed at our rescue at all.
That's good to know.
Yes, so we don't breed. We leave that to the experts, and we just don't promote any rescues being bred anyway. I would ask somebody that I know real well that is, you know, is a breeder of bearded dragons what she possibly is.
Right.
But these would probably be considered like some type of a high quality Sunfire. And I know she's had her for about a year maybe. So she's probably about a year old.
Her temperament's very nice too.
She's
chill.
She's very chill right now, yeah, for sure. She's very chill. And she'll do really well. We do a lot of kids' educational programs, birthday parties, private birthday parties. Our funding is somewhat from that for the rescue. We do charge fees that we go out when we do educational programs at schools and private birthday parties. We do charge fees for that. And that money all goes back to these animals.
Which is great. Not only are you helping the animals, you're also teaching kids all kinds of cool things. You know, their minds just want to learn.
They do.
And if they see something like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this.
They really do, and they get excited. You'd be surprised, honestly, how many kids, when we do bring in reptiles to a show or a school or a birthday party, how many of them are really like, they're like, all about the touching. And even when you say to them, you know, step back a little, they're like, oh, you know, they get so excited that they really want to get in there and learn. And they ask the questions. They look at them very closely. And they're, oh, what are these? And, you know, they're the ears. And, oh, these are pricky, you know, and they got to touch everything. And so they're really, really not as... I think they learn a bit of the scaredness from their parents. Right. But the kids are not. They're like, faces are right in there. Even on some of our larger snakes that I didn't bring. But some of our larger snakes, the kids are right in their faces. And we're like, oh, don't get in the face.
Oh,
just as a, you know, a precaution.
Oh, definitely.
And the kids could care less. They're like right in there, you know. And I'm like, oh, they do want to see the tongue. And, you know, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, she'll be great for some of the kids' educational programs and birthday parties that we do. Hiccup, I know people will ask. But Hiccup and Maui are not going to be up for adoption. There's a possibility down the road that the owner may want them back after she completes the rest of her surgeries and hopefully gets a lot healthier. And we do give some surrenders that option.
That's cool. That's really nice that you guys do that. Because I can imagine for some people it'd be really hard.
Yeah, it was really hard.
I couldn't even fathom the idea of getting rid of
a pet.
Of having to get rid of a pet, you know?
Right.
So
it is. It can be very hard for some of them. And it wasn't easy for her to make that decision, you know, but, you know, sometimes life gets in the way and things are happen and it's out of your control. Yeah. Everybody does fill out an adoption form, but you can call us, you can ask us questions. We don't just disappear because you adopt an animal from us. Right. And then, you know, we take your money and you leave. You know, basically we're like, our door's always open. So
that's great. All right, so we just seen the beardie. What was her name?
Hiccup.
Hiccup.
Ain't that a cute Hiccup?
So what are you gonna show me now?
Okay, so
I'm scared.
So we bring this guy does a lot of kid shows. We've had him for probably about 8 years now. Okay. And I'm gonna introduce him to you the same way that we introduce him to the kids.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we say when we do a party, has anyone ever seen How to Train Your Dragon? Okay.
I love
right.
That movie.
Me. So we have our own little How to Train Your Dragon, and Toothless is his look-alike. So this is Toothless's look-alike, and this guy is called Snuffleupagus is his name, and he is a Uromastic.
Oh, he's cute. Look at that face.
He looks like Snuffleupagus. Snuffleupagus. He looks like Toothless.
He's adorable, actually.
And he's shedding a little bit. He does shed. So these guys are pretty cool. He does need a little mani-pedi. They're super cool. They like it extremely hot. They are from the Pakistan, Egypt areas. This is This is a really cool lizard. He is a lizard, not a monitor, but he is a lizard. But he's a vegetarian.
A vegetarian?
Yes, he eats greens only, but he does eat some seeds.
Seeds?
So like...
for a lizard?
Yes, like parakeet seeds. A lot of people put their bedding as seeds.
Wow.
But no sunflowers or anything, just regular little parakeet seeds. And he loves his greens. And he gets a lot of his water supplement from the greens.
So what about his tail? I've noticed it looks short.
Yeah, so his tail is really cool. That is a defense. So his body's super soft, but his tail is extremely, very tough. And he has, like, if you actually go the other way, it feels really sharp. So what he does is he stuffs himself inside rock burrows, and if something tries to pull him out, he blows his body up, and he whips him in the face with the tail.
Oh.
So that's his armor. That's like his defense.
That's his defense.
I think Martin should hold them. Don't you guys think Martin? I think, yeah, say Martin should hold me. I think Martin should hold me. He's super cool. And he's not what you think he is. He's a little bit softer. Isn't he cool?
Actually,
he's very active.
He feels really different from a bearded dragon, though.
Yes, he does.
Like silk.
Yeah.
His skin is...
Like, some people describe it like almost like leathery.
Yeah.
And he's super cool.
Oh.
He's really pretty friendly. He's just a little bit more active than, like, if you sit a bearded dragon in your hand, he's a lot more active than that. But for the most part, he's really, really cool.
And you're right about the tail.
Yes, go the other way. Go up the other way.
Oh, shoot. Imagine getting whacked in the head.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh, I love his face.
I know, he's got such a cute little face.
Hi, baby.
And that's how we describe him as, from How to Train Your Dragon. He actually does look like... Toothless. And around Halloween, he has his own little wings.
Oh my gosh. This is so cool. Okay, so we're going to do another critter. And what is this going to be now?
We're going to
okay, just that.
Yeah, I know, right. We're going to because I'll do him later, but I think we're going to do something pretty, what everybody's scared of or seems to be scared of. And I know Martin has a little bit of a phobia.
Is that a...
Yeah, it's a snake.
It's a snake.
It's a snake.
Chilly snake. Chilly snake.
But this is actually a really cool snake, and this was another rescue that we got, and we actually got this one along with a king snake. They came in not as a pair, of course, because king snakes would eat this guy. But
I could say off the bat, very pretty.
Yes.
I can say that.
So this is a corn snake. And this guy's name is Houdini.
Whoa.
And Houdini came to us a few months ago, I believe now. We've had him for maybe about 2 months or so.
Look how big.
And Houdini is a corn snake. And he also does a lot of kids shows and programs because he's really pretty calm, very docile, very handleable. And of course, any animals that we use in the kids shows, they have to be calm, docile, other than the fact that they go to the bathroom. Which the kids like to see that too.
Yeah.
But they have to be very, very easygoing because we just wouldn't bring them if they weren't.
It reminds me of the snake from Britney Spears' video, the python that...
That's actually a Burmese python, the albino Burmese python. Yep. I think this is more like what they call, again, where we don't get into the morphs.
Right.
And corn snakes come in a variety, and I mean a variety of colors.
I thought corn snakes were red.
Well, the originals are, and
okay.
I don't know the actual names of all of the different kinds. I think this one might be called like a butter corn or something to that nature. The albinos actually, I believe, are more white with a little bit of lavender. And then, of course, they have the red eyes. So this, I think, is more like a buttered corn.
Okay.
Again, as a rescue, we don't get into the whole scientific names or the morphs that they have, which are thousands of different types of morphs and colors. So Martin needs to get over his little his phobia and his fear.
I'll do this for the sake of the reptiles.
Yes, do it for the sake of the reptiles. So the easiest way to hold snakes, obviously, is my husband always says to act like a tree. But sometimes trees don't do well because, you still have to move your hands.
You're kind of just following them.
Right, you want to follow them. You never want to squeeze them to make them stay where you want them to. You kind of just move your hands with them.
Just let them go with the flow?
Right, a lot of people will try to hold them like this and make them not, you don't want to do that.
No, I wouldn't want to get mad.
And yes, well, even then they have a very great temperament. So it takes a lot to get them to kind of bite you. You have to really hurt them.
Okay.
But you just want to...
Okay.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa.
Okay, feels very...
Yep. Feels... And it's not slimy.
No, it's...
Okay, so a lot of people will say, especially kids, oh, it's slimy. And actually, they're not slimy. They're very soft.
They are.
So they may feel slimy. Yep, I promise that he will not bite you. So you can get them right by. You can just pick them right up.
Can I use both hands?
Yes, you can. Use both hands. I always recommend both hands. So they are not slimy. They are. It's okay. Yep, just go ahead. Yep, just pick them up the same way. There you go.
Well, they like know how to.
Yeah, they kind of. Well, they that's muscle. They're full of muscle. They move with every muscle that they have in their body. They have each individual section on their bottom part here is actually muscle.
Whoa.
So they can move it individually, and that's how they move through, on the ground. But they are not slimy. They're just extremely soft.
They're just awkward. Since I've never held one. It's cool.
Like I said, a lot of people get kind of nervous because they have a misconception of snakes. So most snakes, including rattlesnakes, which we do a rattlesnake removal service. We do a no-kill rattlesnake removal service. My husband's been doing that for over 25 years. Is the fact that they're always usually in a defensive. They're not an aggressive, especially rattlesnakes. They're not aggressive. They're defensive. And if you can actually learn the difference between aggression and defense, you can see that most snakes are usually on a defense mode. They're scared. They kind of don't know. We're a lot bigger than they are. And, they get picked off by birds too.
Yeah.
A lot of snakes get picked off by birds of prey, turkey, stuff like that, other predators. So they are in a defense mode. When they become defensive, it looks like aggression. But their mouths and biting is all they have to defend themselves against something else. For the most part, they're extremely calm, very docile, and they may not be the pet for everyone, but as I say to everything in life, you may not like it, but at least you can learn and respect it. Each snake has a different type of skin.
Yeah, and the thing is, my only thing was really weird is like I didn't know if I was hurting it. Like
right.
When it was moving, right? You're moving with it, but it feels like I'm gonna like.
So the greatest thing about these guys is you'll know when they are very uncomfortable. They start to move a lot more. So they're not used to being not flat. So when you do hold them, the more support you can give them, the more comfortable they do feel.
Yeah. When I was holding this one, I could feel the scale kind of going. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to.
Well, they move. Like if I actually put him on the table, you'll actually be able to see how when he moves, let me tickle his tail, because usually when you tickle their tail, they'll move. You'll be able to see if he wants to move, maybe not.
Probably this feels good.
He's like, yeah, this was nice. But usually you can see when they start to move. The reason why they move that way is they're actually using each individual muscle.
That's so cool.
The next one we have here, this actually came from a friend of ours.
Looks a little scary.
He's a little bit faster, not gonna lie. He can be a little bit faster. Martin's already freaking out. I don't even have to see him, but I already know. I
can see a little bit of him, and he looks a little creepy for me.
Well, he's not creepy, but the great thing about this guy is, even though he has different kinds of patterns, most of these guys actually come in striped patterns, and these are local to California. So this is a California king snake, but he actually has a different pattern. So this guy actually was captive bred. He has a little bit of a different pattern to him, but most of the time these guys are banded. So they come in white and black, maroon and white, white and light brown, white and dark brown, but they're striped like a candy cane.
Right.
So they normally are striped like candy canes. This is Oreo. And Oreo does a lot of kids shows also. And he's a king snake, so he's a little bit more head shy than say the corn snake, which means they don't really like their heads bothered with too much. Mm-hmm. But his texture of his skin is a little bit different.
I won't hold him, but he feels, yeah, I can see that.
So it's a little bit different. The great thing about these guys is if you have these guys on your property, they actually are other snake eaters. So they will kill rattlesnakes. They're immune to the venom of the rattlesnake, but they also will kill even their own kind.
Whoa.
And they'll also kill corn snakes, gopher snakes, any other type of snake. They're king snakes.
And I've noticed the scales feel different than the corn snake.
Yep. Yep, these guys are a little bit more rough. But they make great pets. Of course, we don't want anybody taking king snakes out of the wild. It's always good to do captive bred. Oh, he's getting right in there. It's always good to do captive bred. Taking stuff out of the wild really isn't good. A lot of people, will do that. They'll take king snakes out of the wild, or tortoises, especially local species.
So one time when we were little, in these apartments in Sacramento, my stepdad had found a king snake right by the apartment. We ended up keeping it. We bought a tank. It was mean, but we like you said, it's not a good idea to take him out of the wild, and I think he was.
Well, I mean, people do that, and the laws change. So, there's different laws. There's some laws that say that you're allowed to have 2. There's some laws that you can go out and actually collect so many, but you have to have a permit to collect them. There's a lot of different, especially with the local species. King snakes being one of them. These guys are great to have on the properties. Again, especially if you live in rattlesnake areas, these guys are natural, not only natural rodent killers, but they're also natural rattlesnake killers. We do, like I said, we do provide a rattlesnake removal service. My husband Joe has been doing it for a very long time. He's really good at it.
He is.
We do charge fees, but our fees are very reasonable. And again, that money goes back to our rescue. And we do a relocation. We try to do a no-kill.
That's good.
We also do rattlesnake fencing. You can never 100% guarantee, but the rattlesnake fencing actually is really good. It does help keep rattlesnakes off the property.
So what does that mean, though?
So what it means is, like, there's a specific type of wire. It's not a mesh, because we don't promote the plastic mesh. A lot of snakes and other animals actually get entwined and cut up in that stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to explain it, but it's like if you have a fence already, it actually goes within the fence area. There's a wood piece that goes on the bottom that he drills the wire fencing to. And it's almost like the plastic mesh, but it's very small.
Okay.
So nothing can get in, nothing can get stuck or get twined up in it, and it's tied to the original fencing.
So whoever calls him for the removal, if they want that, he will install that.
Right.
In that area.
Right.
Okay.
He'll have to take measurements and stuff like that, and get an estimate and how much supplies.
Okay.
Right now he's doing a fencing. It's a 450-foot fence that he's putting up for rattlesnake fencing that he's been doing.
All right, so the last critter, what did you bring?
I brought something that's actually in between. So some people think is in between. So this guy, everybody always gets the name wrong, so you gotta listen carefully.
Let's listen, everybody.
It's a blue tongue skink.
Skink?
Not a skank.
A skank? A blue tongue?
A blue tongue skink.
Stink.
Skink.
Skink.
So this guy, some people, well, Martin knows, we had a little bit of a mishap earlier. He peed, and oh, look at all that shed come right off now that he's nice and moist.
Look at.
Yeah, he's got a nice new coat. So this guy actually, a lot of people say, oh my God, no, it's a snake. It's not a snake, but they do look like a snake with legs.
Yeah, his tiny legs.
Yes, he has very tiny little legs. They're very low to the ground. They actually, I want to say, shuffle.
Oh.
So they kind of like shuffle or slither, sort of. So that's why people think that they're snakes, but they're not. If he'll actually, if you can get a close up, if I can get him to, well, maybe not. He's like, I don't want to have it today. Can you stick your tongue out for me, maybe? Just a little? They're called blue tongues because they actually have a blue tongue. And it's used so that predators think that they're poisonous or venomous.
That's...
because poison usually, for the color. A lot of people, like, same with some other reptiles, if it's like certain colors, they think that they're venomous. So there's a huge difference between venom and poison, of course. Everybody always says, is that poisonous? Is that poisonous? So rattlesnakes and other types of venomous snakes are not poisonous, they're venomous. And the difference is venom is injected, poison is swallowed.
Okay.
So if you get injected, obviously if you get bit by something, it's an injection, so it's venomous. If you swallow something and you're sick, and it's poison.
Whoa.
So no venomous snake is poisonous.
Look at you.
I know, he's sitting super still. He's like, all right, I had a bath in your sink.
Yes.
I peed on myself. I'm not in a very good mood.
Cute.
He kind of looks a little bit like a snake. And these guys actually like a different variety of foods. They like fruit a lot, but they also like meat. So they will eat some meat. They will eat some meat. We feed these guys like a specific type of dog food, usually like a chicken type of dog food. We like to use more what's the word I'm looking for? Not organic, but like, you know, the natural dog food, like Taste of the Wild.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
The expensive stuff.
Yeah, the expensive stuff, unfortunately. But it's better for them. It doesn't have any like, you know, fake stuff in it or anything like that. It's all natural stuff. So that's what we usually try to feed them.
And so these shed differently from the bearded dragons?
Yes.
Because my Elvira, her skin kind of looks like a snake would, almost in a sense. And I've noticed this one's doing it like little by littles.
Yes, and they actually can. It depends. I mean, sometimes, I mean, obviously he didn't have a very good, he was a little bit it wasn't very moist in the box on his transport. They can actually shed in a section, but sometimes they actually shed in pieces.
Okay.
And even though this is super moist and he's not dry at all,
no.
It does come out in pieces instead of like one full piece.
Right.
So it does. They do shed a little bit different. Bearded dragons do shed in sections or pieces. Usually have an issue around the toes, so it's always good to try to give him a bath, just out moisturize that a little bit. And
his head is so cool.
And that's why he looks like a snake. I wish he would stick out his tongue.
Peas,
peas. He's like, no, not today. He's cranky today, I think.
Yeah, I'm good on holding. Let's not have him bite me. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's super cool. The good thing, I mean, well, the thing is too, is that.
Oh, there's his tongue.
Oh, yay. Oh, and he got like some, don't bite me. I'm like, he got some, he's like, that's probably why he's got his tongue out. He's got his own skin stuff.
Whoa, his tongue looks like a dog almost.
Well, Joe actually calls them the slurpy drinking lizards.
Yeah.
So one of the things too that I like to let people know too is that the housing. So there's a lot of different, there's a huge controversy about housing some of these reptiles. Obviously you have to kind of get to read the reptile.
Right.
So skinks technically don't do well together. Males, no. They usually fight. Even the males are pretty aggressive with the females during mating. And they're very hard to sex. So we've actually, I don't know how many people have heard of East Bay Vivarium out in Berkeley, but they're a very reputable reptile store that's been around for many, many years. And one of the owners, I actually asked him if he would sex this one and another one that came in together as two females. He believes they're both males, but the only way to really try to see that for sure is to bring them to the store and put them with a proven female to see if they are. Because you can't, it's called probing. They can probe snakes where they use specific types of tools to say if they're male or female. Now there are some snakes that you can house together. We house, as a rescue, we don't have the availability to have hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of cages.
Definitely.
So a lot of our snakes we do keep in snake racks unless they're venomous. They go in locked wooden cages with locks on them that Joe has the keys for.
That's good.
So they are in locked cages. But like king snakes you can't house together. But our corn snakes we do. We do house them together. It's very rare that we actually have viable eggs because we just, you know, feed them off as we don't breed.
Right.
And it hasn't happened very often, believe it or not. I mean, in all the years we've been doing this, we had once where we actually had a clutch of corn snake eggs, and it was actually exciting for me, and I did hatch them out and find them all homes eventually, but that was the only time we ever did that, and that was like probably 6 or 7 years ago. And it was almost like, you know, can we really even like we didn't even have an incubator or nothing. We just stuck them in some vermiculite. It was like, let's just see. Stuck them in some vermiculite and put them on top of a shelf and called it a day. And next thing you know, they were babies. But they were super cute, and it was a great experience just to kind of know that end of it. So we did use it as an experience thing and a learning tool, and that was it. But so the corn snakes we do house together. Uromastics are the same way. Usually the males don't do very well together. Bearded dragons, however, there's a huge misconception about housing bearded dragons together. We as a rescue, we have many males that are singled out by themselves. They don't do well with anybody, including a female. Then we have what we call our community tank. We do have a couple of females in there, and we do have a couple of males. They all get along very well. And there's no competition, and there's no fighting, there's nothing.
Right.
You have to be able to read the bearded dragon, and you have to be able to read the animal. If there shows any signs of aggression, usually it'll be within the first 15 minutes or so. Sometimes it may come a little later, but for the most part, you can kind of read it and tell. Most males normally don't get along with other males. It's just a gimme.
Yeah.
Most females are okay. If they are brought up together when they're younger, you know, more normally if it's a male and two males and you don't introduce a female, they're okay usually. But same thing, they can become aggressive when it's mating season. So their attitudes may change a little bit during the mating season. But some people will disagree and say you can't house bearded dragons together. Other people will say I've housed them together. I think it's all depending on the dragon itself and the read of the animal. You have to be able to read them. You have to. Yeah, and it takes up a lot of space.
I would imagine.
I might have to bring some over to Martin so that I can like start bringing some here and just use up your room.
I'll have the JnW Reptile section in the corner.
In the corner. We'll put a little bit over there. So, but yeah, it's going to be exciting, and I'm hoping that there will be a lot of these guys at the expo.
You guys.
Yeah, you'll have skinks. You'll have captive bred king snakes, milk snakes, corn snakes, some uromastyx maybe, bearded dragons of course, all different kinds of snakes in general, ball pythons. You may have some retics there, some bigger species of different types of snakes like the Burmese and red tail boas and stuff like that. And there'll be a lot of really good reputable breeders there that are they care about the hobby, they care about what they're doing too.
That's great.
And of course we'll have Martin there and a lot of other really cool oddity vendors. And I have to
look at this.
I have to put my head out there. Unfortunately this guy isn't going to be there. I wish he was. This is similar to some stuff you may see there, but this guy has actually been made by a company called Moldy Creations. This was a gift from my son. It's a purse.
It's a purse.
It's right up my alley.
Love it.
Right up Martin's alley too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I love this, but this is a little bit of the oddity stuff that you may see. So this one's a little bit more of on the extreme side, but like I said, most of it is going to be a lot of fun and kid friendly. And you'd be surprised how many kids are actually really into the weird stuff. I've sold a lot of turtle shells to kids. Their parents are like, "Do you really want that?" And they're like, "Yes."
Yeah, I want it.
They do. They're really interested in that stuff. So it'll be a lot of fun.
So remind us where it's going to be the times.
Okay, so it's going to be July 20th and 21st. On Saturday it'll be 10 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4. Cool. It's at the Vallejo Fairgrounds across from Six Flags. You can make a weekend of it. Come out and see us, go to Six Flags, or actually vice versa. If you're going to get an animal, then go to Six Flags first. Then come see us. But we'll be there for the whole weekend, and it'll be a lot of fun. The events that are going to happen, the programs, there will be one at 12 and one at 2 on both days, Saturday and Sunday. So Carl and Brandy both from Safari Encounters, and then Carl from Loma Vista, they'll start their presentations at 12.
Awesome.
And then the other one will start at 2.
And I'll leave all the information in the description box below, along with all her social media, JnW social media.
For the expo, everybody, it does cost to get in, but you can go to certain areas, and I'll let Martin know where that is, where you can actually pick up cards, and it's $1 off at the door. All the parking is free.
Awesome.
So it's free parking, and there will be food on site. So if you happen to be like, oh, you get hungry during the day, the fairgrounds will have the snack shack open inside the building that we're going to be in, so you don't even have to leave the building. You can actually get food right there.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was so fun. I've never held all these animals. I refuse to touch a whole couple, but that's okay.
By the time the expo comes, you'll be a pro.
You see? Alright, so you guys, if you guys like this video, please like, subscribe, favorite, share with your friends and family for more content. And until next time, you guys, don't be a lemon, be a rosebud. Peace!